What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid, episode 29. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
Episode 29. I'm good. I mean, it's a new world. It feels like we're on episode 29, but something new just happened, right? How'd you
Mhm.
survive your first Twitch?
Well, that happened, right? And first of all, thank you everyone that went to the Twitch stream to see the
Mhm.
Manchester Derby with us, which was a really good experience with Pedro. It was interesting, and yeah, it's a start. It's something that we're gonna for sure improve with our next lives.
Yep.
But I can already say, like, the next live is on Thursday, guys, and it's for the Portuguese against Ireland match. Okay, so if there's a game for you to watch, like, I think that's a pretty good game to watch with FC Wonderkid, because the Portuguese community knows that. Yeah, we know Ruben Dias, Rafael Correa, Bruno Fernandes, all those guys.
All that good stuff. And I think you said that you would read the Irish roster in a Portuguese accent, right?
I didn't
You
say
know?
it, but like, but I do have Irish heritage too. My mom's Irish,
Yes.
so like
Yes.
it's a weird game for me to watch. But I'm gonna be watching it live on Twitch, so there you go. And for sure we'll be commentating too on the simultaneous matches that will be around too. But
Sure.
we went live for a match that we got to commentate what happened, right? So
Yeah.
the Manchester Derby, from your point of view, Breton, like, what happened? What needs to change?
I mean, we've been saying it for the last several weeks. It's funny. I saw a tweet that said, "Oh, it's not Ole's fault; it's the player's fault." Right? Oh, okay,
Oh,
fine. What are you going to do? You're
mhm,
going to spend all the money to replace all of the players? No, it's the player's fault because the players have essentially they're not
mhm,
playing well for Ole. And whose job is it to get them all in? It's Ole. And
mhm,
I think Ole out. You and Pedro said it well. We've said it
mhm,
on previous podcasts. We'll probably say it again. But look at the coaching pedigree that is in the league now, right?
mhm.
With the introduction of Antonio Conte, we forget sometimes Marcelo Bielsa is having a little bit of trouble with Leeds United right now, right? We
I
forget
agree.
that you've still got so much talent that we forget Brendan Rodgers is at the head of Leicester.
Mhm.
Ole does not fit. He doesn't fit, and I think it's time to step aside. And I just don't understand why this is the person that you believe that can compete with all of these other teams that are geared up and ready to fight for the Premier League title.
It's
Okay.
taking way too long. And even like the appointment of Maguire as the captain, like,
Mm.
even that is a bad decision. It's just a bunch of bad decisions right now at Man United. Even getting Sancho at this time, not even fair for Sancho, like,
Mhm.
not playing, like Donny. So it's just a lot of bad decisions. And I can't see it getting better. And the tough fixtures won't stop.
No.
Like, they got Liverpool, they got City, 2 losses. More losses are gonna come. It's
Yeah.
only the start, and I think this is a crazy stat. I'm gonna mention it now.
Mhm.
Like, United have suffered 14 clean sheets. No, have suffered. They haven't had a clean sheet in 14 games. Man
Okay.
United.
Goodness.
Okay, yeah, it's a big stat to go with, and just shows that Maguire has no impact in that defense, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, he does. And obviously, Varane being injured,
Oh,
they're dealing with injuries. But guess what? Chelsea's dealing with injuries. Manchester
oh.
City's dealing with injuries. Everybody's dealing with injuries. Hell, Chelsea's dealing with a lot of injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Solskjaer. Okay, this particular quote kind of sums it up for me. But we are Man United. We are always going to come back. I think we are the number one club in Manchester, and that also probably means the world. I don't know.
LOL.
When,
Like, the
when,
last 10 years. Like,
exactly. It makes no sense. The last FA Cup 6 years ago. The Europa League that they won was actually 5 years ago, and the Prem, they haven't won that in almost 10 years now, right? So I'm not entirely sure what Ole's on about, but it shows you there's a little bit of a detachment. And I get it. He's probably an incredibly nice person, right?
mm,
He's a good guy. He is a player's coach for sure.
mm,
He understands what it's like, but so are a lot of coaches out there.
exactly.
And it just kind of comes down to that comment basically tells you why Manchester is and going to likely remain
Mediocre.
mediocre, but blue.
Wow,
right?
that is so sad, man. Like I didn't even see that quote, but you're right. That sums it up. But let's switch it up, okay? And we're talking about an exit, and let's talk about an entry, okay?
Sure.
And Xavi has arrived at Barcelona, okay? The destined arrival, okay? Cruyff teaches Guardiola, Guardiola teaches Xavi. And I'm really, really hyped for this. I really think Barcelona is going to change.
Yeah.
Going to change with this appointment. Okay. I think that this is going to rejuvenate the squad. All the deadwood is going to go with Xavi. Mm-hmm. Luke De Jong has already had his notice, I think. Sure. Like, at least with the headlines, they say it. Yeah, he had, but I think Braithwaite is like a millionaire. He's got like side hustles too.
He's loving it. Yeah, he's loving it.
So I respect him a lot. Like, but as a football player right now, like maybe they should just get. I don't know. I don't want to go off, but a lot of players need to leave, and I think Xavi is going to deal with it this season. And even Barcelona fans, they see this Xavi appointment, and they know that this season is like a rebuild phase, just like Klopp when he arrived at Liverpool. Mm-hmm. There was like this settlement, like players leaving, players coming. So I think he's going to pick his core. And if there's a time, this is like one of the worst times to go to as a Barcelona manager. Sure. Okay, because Fati's injured for a month. Yep. Pedri's injured for a month. Desta's injured for a week. Dembele is injured for 3 weeks. Like everybody's injured right now, even the youngsters that are promising. Yeah. Like Pedri and Fati are like the blockbusters. And I think the two icons that made Xavi come, and Gavi had a big impact for sure in the decision. So I'm really hyped for Xavi's arrival.
I'll be honest. I am too. I am very hyped as well. I mean, it's like the prodigal son returns. But really from a coaching standpoint, I'm just not entirely sure. The CV here beyond Al Sadd and a wonderful highlight that shows them playing tiki-taka, right, for a little bit. So I think the fact that it almost seems too rosy, too positive, maybe even in Twitter, right? Normally Twitter is like a cesspool of a place to go for positive sentiments
and bold predictions
sure. But it really feels like this has been too rosy, too positive around Xavi's anointment, because we have to understand this is a very, very challenging thing ahead of him. It really is. And frankly, it should be, because you already mentioned it. You got injuries. I mean, I feel terrible for Barcelona supporters because they can't just catch a break right now.
True.
But nobody is looking at this and saying, is Xavi actually ready beyond this being a wonderful narrative? Is he actually ready? La Liga, giant still, and it's a giant that is getting dwarfed by other clubs slowly, very slowly. And I don't think this is a season. I think this is like a 2 to 4 season rebuild. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in thinking this?
I agree with you, but I disagree with you with saying saying that Xavi might not work out, because I'll be honest, Breton, if Xavi was going to Man City, to Man United, to Atletico, to any top team but Barcelona, I'd agree with you being skeptical. But because Xavi is going to Barcelona, I disagree, because he knows everything. He knows the grounds, he knows the people, he knows the style of play, he knows the academy players. Like, I'm sure Xavi, just for loving Barcelona, he knows the team, the youth teams. I'm sure of it. Yeah. So I think like the vertical tiki-taka, a bit like Eric Ten Hag's style of play, it's going to be established too at Barcelona. So I am very positive, but I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to come? Like transfers wise, I know Barcelona's kind of bankrupt, but still players are going to come. So who would you think is going to come?
Yeah. I think who comes relies on who leaves, right? And how much you can get for an Ousmane Dembele. Or if you're even letting go of an Ousmane Dembele. But I think the idea that Xavi is being brought in, is this understanding that Barcelona has hit the floor in terms of we now need to become reliant on our academy again, right? For years and years and years, since Messi, essentially, the academy hasn't really produced, right, the amount of ushered into the 11 stars that we all see since the Xavi years, since, you know, Iniesta, since Messi.
I agree.
So I think that understanding there means purse strings likely are going to be a little tightened. And beyond that, I think you got to look at veteran presence. And I didn't prepare those targets. So you've given me homework, and I'll have to come back to you next week on it, because unless you've got somebody in mind, because it's interesting. Yeah,
I'll be honest. Like, I think you hit the money with it. Like, this is going to be the first time since Guardiola that Barcelona is going to have a huge rejuvenation. The whole lineup. I think we're going to have 3 players that are under 20 and for sure always starting.
Yeah.
Gavi, Pedri, Fati. Like, and just that is a huge statement by Xavi. I agree with you. And Puig, what do you think is going to happen with Puig?
Yeah, I mean, Puig, I think will find a place under Xavi, but I don't know. You know, you got Nico Gonzalez as well, and there's several more behind him. I mean, Akumak, there's just some beautiful, beautiful players in that academy. It's just whether or not they're La Liga right now, right? La Liga standards. But you did bring up something, you know, if Xavi were to go elsewhere, right? That's the thing, is I can't think of Xavi ever potentially going elsewhere just yet. It was almost like when Frank Lampard was hired by Chelsea. We were like, did I say Chelsea? But other than Barcelona, but I can't see Xavi elsewhere at all. The same way that when Frank Lampard was signed by Chelsea, it was kind of like, yeah, well, that kind of makes sense because I can't really see Frank Lampard elsewhere.
But when Guardiola came to Barcelona, didn't you think like similar?
Well, that's true. That is true. And
we can see it happening. And if there's a guy like Guardiola and Xavi, they were always talking to each other, like
that's true.
Like best friends saying, "Oh, look this detail." Like one thing's for sure, like Xavi he's got a focus and an attention to detail. Okay. Just like I'd see Paul Scholes with the commentary, he's been bold and going really well with his predictions with Man United.
Yeah,
Xavi would be that guy too. He just knows. He knows. And yeah, if he's hired by the club, there you go. So can we go to another? Oh, sorry.
Well, actually, I wanted to get. I kind of cut you off in terms of are there any individual transfers that you're actually thinking about for Barcelona?
Yeah. I went live and I said this one, but I got to say it on podcast too because I just feel like it's so fitting. Yeah, and it's Antony. Like if Antony goes to Barcelona, I'm not going to say it's Neymar 2.0, okay?
Yeah.
But it's the closest thing we can see, okay, from Neymar. Antony is a baller. He's got the swagger. He's got the final touch and the final end product, okay? It is quite rare to see a Brazilian player nowadays just come to Europe and get an end product straight away. So I think Ajax is doing an excellent job developing Antony and many other talents too.
Sure.
So I think Antony would be the best signing for Xavi because a winger's coming, Brett. Winger is for sure coming. For sure.
Antony's on the right side, right? So you know, that virtually kind of puts the nail in the coffin of Ousmane Dembele if that's the case. But I think you got Antony. I have to push back a little bit on because yes, he has made nobody knows really. Remember David Neres? Everybody was really hyped on David Neres at Ajax. Antony has obviously made that kind of go away, but he didn't necessarily come right away and start lighting up Eredivisie. But this year, and you know the key to this story, Sebastian Haller, right? The attention that Haller gets up there has allowed Antony to wreak havoc wherever he goes on the wing. Okay. And I agree, but I think the longer, let's see, Antony is actually leading the Champions League in assists. Haller's obviously not leading, but he's got 7 goals in 4 games. Antony has 5 assists in 4 games in the Champions League. And I think the longer that happens, I don't know, Barcelona might get priced out. They might.
How much would Antony cost for you?
as of right now, I don't think I'd go too bold on this, but probably somewhere between 25 and 35, right?
No, I
And
disagree.
you think he'd be more?
Easily more than 50. Yeah.
Could be.
Anthony right now, like you can, I think Ajax won't accept any bid below 50 for Anthony.
Right. But we're talking about Barcelona being able to afford that. You're gonna
have
to get that in, right?
No, but when I say that, like, what if Barcelona is affording him, it's with Dembele going, Coutinho going, Luke De Jong going.
Sure.
Like the salary wise, that even Dest, I think, is got a like I saw some interest from Chelsea, right? 25 million. So if they can get a good deal, I don't know. But like I just wanted to end this Barcelona from my point, saying like Dembele has been injured for Barcelona 12 times. Do you know how many times he was injured for Dortmund?
So tough.
0.
Yeah.
He was never, ever injured for Dortmund.
So is it the medical staff is what we're saying?
I don't know if it's the medical staff. I don't know what it is. Yeah. But Dembele has been injured 12 times. It makes no sense to me.
Well, it's heartbreaking.
12 times?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking because this is a kid that when he stays healthy, he's electric. And he's so fun to watch. And, you just want him healthy. And it's the same I feel about countrymen of mine, Christian Pulisic. I would love to see him healthy at all times because when he is on the field, he's generally electric. And when he's not on the field, he's injured. And it's so tough to see, man. But here's hoping the same way Arsenal are climbing out of the basement of the Premier League. I'm not here to say I want to see Xavi fail. I would love to see Xavi rally all the troops around him, all these young bucks, and lead them to the promised land again, La Liga title, get it all done. I don't know, embarrass maybe Real Madrid once or twice in Clasico. But I don't see it happening just yet. And especially the way Real Madrid's playing, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But hey, you're right. We should probably move on from Barcelona because I think we'll be talking about this change, this metamorphosis that'll likely happen a whole lot more. And we should probably jump back to the Premier League and talk about a team that is definitely going to be in the midst of a relegation battle this year, but also is going to have more money than they know what to do with. And a boss that, I don't know, what do you think about Eddie Howe potentially signing for Newcastle? I think it's like a 2.5, 3-year deal. How do you feel about this?
Great deal.
Okay.
Great deal by Newcastle. I think they were pushed to have it because they were interested in Unai Emery.
Yeah.
I prefer Eddie Howe, honestly. I think just the fact that he can come in and he knows Callum Wilson better than anyone.
That's true.
Okay.
He signed him.
Yeah, he signed. And the fact that he's been in this situation. It's not like an unknown thing to maintain in the Premier League. Like Eddie Howe knows what to do. Yeah. So I like it. And something too about Eddie Howe, like, didn't he leave Bournemouth because he had such an ambitious project? Like, if there's a place to have such an ambitious project right now, it's Newcastle. And true. I think they'd be impressed with how long-term he'd be thinking. Yeah. I'm not saying like, look, it's bold even to think that he can maybe stay at Newcastle if it works out, because Eddie Howe was being mentioned as a prodigy coach back in the day. Like I'd say 3-4 years ago, people were really rating him. Yeah. So I like this appointment, and seeing that even Ter Stegen is quite heavily being appointed to go to Newcastle, like it just shows what are they aiming for. And I'd love to see Eddie. I'm going to love to see Eddie Howe with the money. Yeah. And let's see the Geordie if they go bold.
Yeah, well, I think Newcastle is going to go bold, and Eddie Howe, I think he went bold, maybe a little too bold with the Dominic Solanke and they spent like 18 million pounds on Jordan Ibe, which clearly did not work at all. And I don't know if that was in his wheelhouse, if that was what he decided. But here's what he did do. He went from a shoestring budget of not having resources, in fact, not even knowing if Bournemouth would survive the next season, right, or head into administration, And he brought them to the Premier League, where they actually really were a fun team to watch. They were an exciting team. He's a preparer. Someone could say he almost gets in his own way. He over prepares things. He tries to have contingency plans for everything on the pitch. But the biggest thing is, if he can do it with limited resources, will he be overwhelmed by the treasure chest in front of him? Right. Or will he kind of manage it with not an iron fist, but a shrewd look on things, right? Like he brought in Danny Ings and Kieran Trippier for like less than £1 million, right? He brought in Callum Wilson for £3 million. He brought in, I think, Aaron Ramsdale for like 1 or 2, or maybe even less than $1 million, actually. So he's made really good, shrewd deals of players that we all look at now and we're like, these were good players, and he's going, what we know is that he became synonymous with the Bournemouth identity, essentially, that identity that was getting built. And Newcastle very clearly has a rich, rich heritage, of course, and you can't replace that. But as it goes on the pitch and in the locker room, he will create an identity, and the players will have to match that identity. So I like, if you haven't gotten the gist, I like the appointment too, if it comes through. But our boy Fabrizio Romano is saying it's coming. So we expect that announcement in the next day or two.
Yeah, the next day or two. But do you think like he'll sign more English players, or you think he'll fancy go abroad?
Oof. Well, I mean, the nature of Brexit and all that fun stuff is it would make sense, I guess, for him to look within. But at the same time, it's overpriced. I
think Newcastle will be ambitious, and that's the only negative point that I could put to Eddie Howe. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he'll have to maybe test waters in different like territories, like with players.
Sure.
Because you were all mentioning like English players, British players. And Newcastle is an ambitious club, and with ambitious ideas, you need to sign.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually didn't even think about that. Pretty much every player I mentioned, you're right, that he brought in was a result of probably a local scouting team and him doing the scouting himself. And now you're talking about, you have the world at your fingertips. Either that
could be good.
You. Yeah, it could be great. I mean, if he is as good as a lot of what anyone that's known him speaks very highly of him. So I mean, first things first, Newcastle has a relegation fight on their hands.
True.
And if they don't pass that test, they're going to be doing this from the Championship. And, that's not exactly what I think their new owners want. So
no, it's not exactly. But so I have another topic here, and it was something I was watching in the news, and very strongly, like a lot of interest from Arsenal to get Dusan Vlahovic. Okay,
finally.
So, like, if there's a night, like, I think the ideal club for Vlahovic is Tottenham because of the whole like striker situation, and just gives more leverage to the club, to Tottenham, if they get Vlahovic. But Arsenal can, if they snatch him up, like they're causing troubles to their rivals, and they get such a quality striker and youngster, top goal scorer, like type beat. Like he can come to the Prem and have maybe more than 20 goals.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the type of player potential wise he can become. So seeing it, I'm like thinking, good job, Arsenal, if you're thinking about these players.
And it fits the bill, right? I mean, Fiorentina is not a Champions League team and will not be anytime soon. So Vlahovic could look at it and say, no, I need to go to Champions League football. Or he can say, Arsenal is a young and upcoming team. And just think about that. Think about Tierney's crosses. Think about him getting on the end of Saka's mazy runs, right? I mean, ESR and Odegaard teeing him up. I mean, it fits. It fits in a lot of ways, and it kind of excites me. It gets me pretty amped for Gunners fans if this could happen for them. But it seems like a steep cost, but Arsenal is willing to pay it. And we're already a little bit of crow on Ramsdale. So why not eat a whole plate full? But Vlahovic is who you want to be. I think who you want to be, tied to. right? And those are the types of names that I think Gunner fans want to see. So we'll see if it happens. What was the price on that? That was like 65 million euros, right?
Yeah, it's a steep price. But it's expected if Vlahovic is coming, Lacazette, or even Aubameyang, like they need to go. Aubameyang would be the one that would be more urgent in my opinion, because like 350K a week.
That's a lot.
That's way too much if you're not starting. Like, and if Vlahovic is coming, like he wants that spot. But the player that you mentioned quickly, and I have to say, how is this kid not selected for England? Okay.
ESR?
Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe. Once again, saving Arsenal today. And yeah, I think he's the main man now. He got that 10 jersey, and it's like, I'm the boss now at Arsenal. I am the boss. Okay. He dictates the tempo so well. Okay. And yeah, Emil Smith-Rowe, like he should have been called up for England, in my opinion.
I'd agree with you. It's one of those good problems to have that we all talk about. That Southgate has an embarrassment of riches in front of him, but Smith-Rowe, as we've mentioned before, is probably one of the best dribblers in the Premier League. And he's starting to gain a whole lot of confidence. I mean, what do you say? With the number 10 comes great responsibility. If we're like quoting a Disney movie or something, I mean, this is pretty much. Smith-Rowe had a reckoning period where he had to deal with the fact that he was given that 10. And I bet part of him was like, "Oh, am I even ready for this?" And he's starting to realize it doesn't help him to pussyfoot around. Okay. It helps him to just go, yeah, I don't want to use this phrase, but yeah, balls to the wall on this, right?
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
And he has shown so much confidence in the last few matches that it feels like only a month or two ago, because it was, that we were talking about Arsenal's imminent demise, and here they are climbing up.
And even the fact that the Odegaard is signed, like it's saying to Smith-Rowe, now it's the time for you to step up.
Yes,
if they get it, if they got Odegaard, and I even said you can't play the two at the same time. Like it's a huge gap if the two play. Partey's alone. And yeah, I think that was psychologically one of the big reasons why Smith-Rowe is so good this season.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So good. So any highlights? Highlights?
I got to throw just a random. You remember the name Alexander Mitrovic?
Oh yeah. I remember him.
He at one time was part of Newcastle. But now Mitrovic, I mean, the numbers just from Mitrovic to Lewandowski to Haller, the Holland, the numbers that are being put up by big strikers this year. Is this different than in years past? Like, I haven't done the homework on this. It feels different, does it not? It's like we've normalized this process where 20 goals in 17 matches, which is Mitrovic for Fulham, I know, in the championship. But then you look at Lewandowski with 8 goals in 4 games in the Champions League. Is this the normal now?
I'll be honest, Breton. Like with Mitrovic, I think it's Mark Silva. Okay, like it's the guy is one of the most underrated coaches out there. Okay, job. I remember being a kid and seeing the job he did with Estoril. They go up from the 2nd division in Portugal to the 3rd place straight away, or like the 4th.
Yeah,
something ridiculous. I remember I was a kid, and since then I was like, Mark Silva is a really nice coach, and ever since he's been, it's bad decisions, bad managements.
Yes,
and I feel like this is one of the most underrated things as a young man for a young manager. You need a good boss. You need a good management board of management. If you don't have a good board of management, like Leicester have, okay, clubs that like Dortmund have. Like clubs that really want the best for the managers, like you're in a bad situation. Yeah. So, it's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these numbers and the scoring charts, and it just seems different than other years. I mean, Lewandowski's 23 goals in 17 games this year. Okay, last year at this time, he ended the year with 47 goals last year. Last year at this time, he had 16 goals in 18 games. Robert Lewandowski has 23 goals in 17 games so far this year.
Oh my days.
He's outpacing himself. And you know who paved the way on this? Cristiano Ronaldo, and Leo Messi paved the way on that.
I like how you mentioned Krish first.
We have to, because he had a stinker. No, I'm sorry. United had a stinker yesterday. But I'm just in awe at this, because it feels like FIFA numbers, like I don't know, Football Manager numbers, where you're quoting like 55 goals in a year. That these are numbers that we only really expected Ronaldo and Messi to do, and now you got Salah, you've got everybody just hopping on board. It's normalized. It's weird, but awesome at the same time.
And there's like even a stat, like I had here in my notes, and I was gonna forget. I'm glad that you mentioned goals, and it's Neymar. Neymar has scored 400 career goals.
Oof.
And like yesterday, Neymar was balling against Bordeaux. Okay, I loved it. I loved seeing that game. Like Neymar really was brilliant.
Yeah.
A magnificent game.
That Mbappe back heel to him on I don't know if it was the second. I think it was the second goal. His second goal. That was just beautiful. And Neymar's heating up. I mean, it's a fun time. It's a different time. You guys were talking on the live stream about whether or not when we were growing up the talents were better. Well, I'll tell you right now, yes, they're playing a whole lot more football, right? But the stats are just incredible with what a lot of these players these days are putting out. And between Mo Salah, between Lewandowski, between Vinicius and Karim Benzema, between Haller and Antony, I mean, these goals, these games, it's cool. It's pretty cool. So, midweek, Lewandowski kicked butt again. Karim Benzema now has 22 goal involvements and just over 1,300 minutes played. He leads La Liga in both goals scored and assists. These numbers are just crazy for me. And I can't stress that enough. But
you're talking midweek, so we can transition right to European competitions. And I gotta say, like after that Man City against Man United game, and after the Club Brugge game, I'm gonna say Cancel is right now the best fullback in the world. João Cancel is the best fullback in the world right now. Like he's balling out assists. Like it was so easy to predict those assists because he's that good right now. It's like a cheat code on the left. It's a pure cheat code.
I'll tell you what. What did he have? He had 3 assists midweek. Do we count that as 2 assists yesterday, even though one was an own goal?
I get you. It's something. It's a goal. It's goal Cancel. I'd say goal Cancel.
It is right, and that's what they've missed. That's what they've absolutely missed. Is he just needs to be healthy, and stay healthy, and they're going to be good. City's going to be good, but I don't know if I agree with him being the best in the world right now. But in terms of over the last 3 days, last couple matches, damn. And I know Liverpool lost today, but obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold shows why Trent Alexander-Arnold is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I should have picked a shorter name to say 3 times in a row. But I think you're right. João Cancelo is in form, and I gotta imagine, he's going to be really important for Portugal against Ireland. And who you got next? Serbia too over the weekend.
Serbia on Sunday.
And to be honest, to go back to United, Cristiano Ronaldo midweek. Come on. That was just a lot of fun to watch, right? The Bruno back pass. I mean, that feels decades away compared to what happened yesterday. And it just makes you wonder, how do you go from being so up for something and coming back and having this verve about you to whatever the hell happened yesterday against City?
Well, it happens for the simple reason that Mr. Champions League is Cristiano Ronaldo. And if there's a Champions League fixture and this man is playing, this man is going to give everything, because he knows Champions League nights are the ones that stay in history.
Sure.
That's why Ronaldo is the best, in my opinion. Because it's the pure determination. Like, it's the pure striveness to success. Like, every single minute he knows, like, he's closer to retirement, Krish. And you can clearly see that he wants to give it all in the Champions League. If there's one more minute, he's going to work even harder. So that's why I love it. That's why I see a different man.
And let's work out the worst case scenario for Ronaldo here. What happens if things go so far southward with United? that he can't control it. What comes next for Cristiano Ronaldo?
I honestly don't know, Bretson.
Yeah.
Like if it was like next season,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna stand his ground on Man United for 2 seasons. I think so. And for that, I think there's gonna be a lot of expectations with the manager. That's why I'm so keen on Oli leaving. But if he doesn't leave and this situation keeps on going, like I gotta feel sorry for Ronaldo. Like it's about it wasn't gonna play at Juve.
Yeah.
Juve wasn't working out well. It's not what it wasn't gonna play. It just didn't feel right anymore. And that's why they found a solution with United. But it still feels like there's something missing. And yeah, I feel sorry for him because like the goals, like if you see how many goals Messi has in the league and Ronaldo, like that just says like how much that man's working. So in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we'll see. And I don't mean to harp on yesterday, but that was just absolutely tough to watch. And frankly, if I was on there, I would have been incredibly negative. So I'm pretty glad I wasn't on that stream with you guys yesterday, because just seeing Sancho, I mean, Sancho's now losing his spot in Southgate's squad. And I was going along with this exercise of trying to put together a combined 11. If I needed to pick an 11 from City and United, pick maybe one United guy. Maybe two.
That's
maybe
bold.
Two,
so
anyway.
But yeah, I wanted to say something on the Champions League front. Like I think Ajax are proper contenders, Breton. What do you think of this statement? Like I think Ajax might go to the final if they don't get a Liverpool, or even Real Madrid would be a very difficult team, I think, in this Champions League to beat. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I guess I just don't know if you look at this Ajax team and you say, is this better than the 2018-2019 team with Van de Beek, De Jong, and they got to the semifinals, but they obviously had a little bit of a tougher course to chart. So you're right. If they get a favorable, in this day and age, what is favorable? Because a lot of these teams are looking pretty good. But
they get Juve. The league, they got Juve, Ajax, and
it's true.
If they get Juve, Ajax trashes them, in my opinion, right now. I think Ajax trashes Juve right now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. If you're scoring as much as Ajax is scoring, and you're in sync as much as Ajax is in sync, they're going to be hard to beat because Juve can't. I don't know. They can't find a pot to piss in right now. Their league form is terrible, but hey, they made their way through and busted their way through the group. So they'll be in the next round. So yeah, no, anything can happen, but I don't know. When's the last time we had an absolute shock when it comes to Champions League win?
Mourinho.
Yeah. So that was what, like, that was 04 or 05? 05?
Yeah, that's like that was a couple of years ago. Yeah. Ooh. But Inter too at the time when Mourinho even did it at Inter too. Like Inter wasn't a block. They had money, yes, but they weren't the team like Barcelona or Real Madrid at that time.
And now Mourinho's getting beat by Venezia today, and little Gianluca Busio, the national team player. What a game it was too.
It didn't go too well. But in the Champions League front, like there's even another player, because I got to highlight too, and he had a little moment with Neymar. That was Dominic Szoboszlai with the penalty kick, that pure confidence. Okay, because then in the interview after, he said he was just like trying to make me miss, but no chance. And that's like the confidence that I love to see. And Dominic Szoboszlai, I think, like we were saying, like this season is going to be the season, and seeing him score, like even though it's a penalty, like it's lovely to see. It's lovely to see.
It is. It's one of those things, just like Ousmane Dembele, man. When Szoboszlai was out, we wanted him to be healthy. He had that little setback, took a while. Him missing the Euro 2020, that was just so tough because he was the reason Hungary got there. But to see him back and healthy, Leipzig looks good. Jesse Marsch, maybe he's not on the hot seat anymore. And it also has to do with Christo Nkunku. Right. Also has to do this kid's turning into one of the more prolific players, not just in the Bundesliga, but also in the Champions League. And Nkunku has 5 goals in 4 Champions League matches. He had a goal and an assist versus Dortmund recently. I mean, he's firing on all cylinders. And it makes you wonder, what did PSG just not see in him? But it's really, really interesting and fun to see.
But like he needed to leave PSG to get this development though. Like it's like many others. Like it's Coman even left PSG, and he was like one of the like the princes of that academy. So it's very hard. It's very hard. But I love it. And Kunko is the type of player like he values scaling up. Like I compared him to Leon Bailey before this season, but
yeah,
right now I put him much higher. I'll rate Nkunku much higher than Bailey. So like he's developing at a really good rate. And French national team maybe.
And French
I don't know if he's been selected. I don't know if he's been selected, but he should be in the conversation for sure in Nkunku.
He should be. But that's a tough one. Even if you're on the short list, that's impressive, or the extended roster. And Nkunku, I think if he's not there, he will be there soon enough, because he's very, very important to Leipzig. And it's funny that first 3 games, you take out that first 3 games of the Bundesliga season, and they've got some of the best form in the Bundesliga now. They'd be right up against Bayern, but nope. They're 8 points behind, 7 points behind. But I'll tell you what, there was a nice little performance of old of Champions League before we or Europa League, I should say, before we move on. It was really nice and kind of a blast from the past type of thing to see 3 young Lyon products on the score sheet. They didn't score. They assisted every goal in a 3-0 win over Sparta Prague. You had Rayon Cherki. You had 21-year-old Maxence Caqueret, who we are both high on, and I haven't watched enough this season to know if he impresses me as much as he did at the back end of last season. And then there was a new name that I had never really heard of, or knew that he was actually going to get his debut, but on his debut in an 8-minute cameo, 19-year-old winger Bradley Barcola assisted the last goal. So 3-0 win, and it just makes you feel good. Maybe Lyon's academy is starting to produce again in a big way. We'll see.
They got that history. So put in the comment section down below, guys, if there's anything that we forgot to mention in European competitions, because like Champions League, we love a good combo, especially if it's the best competition. So next topic, you want to go with the 3 overall underperformers?
Yeah, we could do that. I hate to feel so pessimistic.
But I think it's a really nice topic, though. Like it's a really good discussion. And guys, if you're starting to see this video, put down below who do you think are the biggest underperformers this season in football? Okay, because we might have different answers. So do you want to start here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with one that's another blast from the past here. And this isn't really underperformance as much as it is, I guess, just not finding the way into the team. Rhys Nelson, right?
Oh, yes.
There was encouraging news today. Rhys Nelson he got on the pitch, came on in the 76th minute when Feyenoord was tied, and actually assisted the late, like 93rd, 94th minute game winner. That is awesome to see, and I want to see more of it. But previous to that, Rhys Nelson had 63 minutes played this whole season, and last season he only had 450 minutes played. And can't find a place at Arsenal, can't find a place on loan. I think he was at Hoffenheim. He's been at Feyenoord. And it's just, this was a guy that a lot of people, we've seen that kind of electric nature about him. He could do things, make things happen. But he's not getting on the pitch. So what is it? Is it training? Is it, and it's just something that you look at him and you feel maybe he's just not up for it. Maybe it's not as much as underperforming. It's that he's not at that level, period. I don't know. Yeah,
I agree. I actually, as a player, I quite forgot, like, because like I wasn't keeping up to him too much. But yeah, that's so true. Like the spotlight hasn't been on him too much.
Nope.
Coming around from what you said, like my player is also an Arsenal player. I mentioned him last podcast, but Martinelli.
Yeah.
So after he came back from injury, I was thinking like, oh, we're seeing Martinelli at least being a super sub. And no, Martinelli doesn't seem like he's one of the players that even Arteta's thinking about. So I think a loan move should happen. So he's a big underperformer this season because of all the hype that was last season. Because we were
Yeah.
putting Martinelli, not we, but like people were putting Martinelli next to Greenwood.
Yeah.
And if you compare it now, Martinelli ain't even close. Like
No.
Saka, okay, but Martinelli, no. So that's my first Wonderkid underperformer right now.
And that's a good one because we all had high hopes for him. And I know when Arsenal started the way that they started, everybody was just basically saying, give these youngsters a chance, give these youngsters a chance. And when
they're winning.
About our Arsenal rebuild, and yeah, he hasn't performed the limited minutes he's gotten on the field. So I don't know if it's lingering health issues or whatnot. I'm sure somebody that's in the know will be able to tell us, but he certainly hasn't knocked our socks off when we've watched him when he's actually gotten on the pitch. And I got one that's similar to that. Okay. We actually saw him sparingly in Euro 2020 until COVID kind of took him away. And I think he had to miss 1 or 2 of Sweden's games. But Dejan Kulusevski,
yeah,
I have not liked what I've seen when he's been on the pitch for Juventus. And kind of combing through Juve's, whether it's Twitter or whatever, Allegri has actually come out and he's stated he doesn't really like his attitude, his approach to training. I mean, we've seen though for Sweden what Dejan can do, and what he can create from nothing. And you kind of look at Dejan, you look at Isak, and you're like, that is a bright Swedish future. But I think he's becoming more and more expendable when it comes to Juventus. I don't know if it's a loan move back to wherever, Atalanta, or I'm trying to remember. That wasn't Atalanta. Was not. Yeah, it was. It was Atalanta, right? But he was left on the bench when Juve was looking for a goal versus Fiorentina recently. And it's like, if you're looking for a goal, you go to Dejan, unless, of course, you don't like what he's about. And Allegri very clearly does not. And
Kulusevski, like last season, he showed really good shines. Like that's another player that I didn't think about. That is a very nice mention there. So I'm gonna stay in the Prem. Okay. And I'm going to talk about a player that I was liking what I was seeing at Norwich, and it's Billy Gilmour. Like, the matches I saw with that Billy Gilmour played, he wasn't bad. Like, and all of a sudden he stops playing. Yeah, Billy Gilmour stopped playing all of a sudden. I don't understand why. And truth is, Norwich manager wins and he's sacked. So we might see the new coach. I saw that Lampard's in the news to go to Norwich. If that happens, Billy Gilmour's back and he's for sure starting. But until then, like, he's underperforming, in my opinion. You'd expect him to be playing every single match for Norwich and balling out because that's what he can do.
Yeah, you really would. I expected it. You expected it. And then this new signing that they brought in, and we're talking about the worst team in the Premier League, and a new signing they bring in. I think his name is Norman or Zimmerman, midfielder, winds up kicking Gilmour out basically. So I hope that changes. But we were so high on the fact that we knew Norwich was going to have a tough year, but we really thought that Gilmour would be able to shine for him because of it. And it would be massive for his minutes, the same way, like a Conor Gallagher at Crystal Palace is amazing right now. Right. So another one, that's kind of to stay in the Prem, and I only have 2 more left. This one is Leicester. This one was in the mouths of every person, especially Arsenal fans, when talking about an offensive addition that they would like. You know who I'm about to say?
Oh yeah, the man with the celebration.
James Maddison. He's got 1 goal this season. That's it. No assists. I mean, Leicester's starting to pep up. They're starting to play better, but he's not the same X factor that he once was. And I'm not saying he's toothless, but it's definitely a drop off from his form last season. I don't know if it's about to come, but he doesn't look like the same player. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you've watched a lot of them. We like Tielemans. We like a lot of that midfield. Boubakary Soumaré just had a phenomenal showing for them today.
He had an assist, right?
Yeah. And Madison just isn't doing it for me. The shine has left him. What do you think?
With Madison, like it's true. I think he's dipped. Okay, but what's the reason why? I don't know, because I think like last season, I think Madison wouldn't have mind to have left Leicester. Okay, and it's the type of player that I think it's been far too long at the same club, and he should have gotten that move earlier.
Yeah,
I'd say with Madison. So yeah, I hope he comes back to form. And but I have to agree with you right now. And Tielemans, you mentioned him fast.
Yeah,
I said it in the live, and I'll say it on podcast. Tielemans has a place in any team in the world. Okay, this is how high I rate Tielemans. Okay, and he's at Leicester, so that's the same level I'm going to demand for all the other players, because he raises the level in the midfield, and Soumaré is keeping up. Is keeping up.
Yes.
So I'm gonna mention here a player. He's not a Wonderkid, but he's a player that's extremely underperforming, and that is Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I gotta mention it. Come on, if there's underperforming,
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the whole situation. But
like it's sad, but Kane has 1 goal in 10 games.
Yeah.
Okay? 1 goal in 10 games. And I watched that Tottenham game today, and you do see that Conte wants Kane to assist a lot and to dictate even the passes in attack. But come on, it's just like he's not focused. He's not with his head in the game. I don't know what's up with Harry Kane, but I don't feel it. You don't feel it. Like the best thing that you can see is how many times does Harry Kane lose the ball.
Right.
He's been losing the ball constantly every single game for Tottenham. I don't know. I think Conte is like looking at this, and it's limited time until something changes. Okay.
Yeah. And the good thing for them is, do I think you're going to get 125 million, 135 million for Kane? No, you're not. But do you think he's going to get a pretty penny, right?
80.
80.
Right now I'd pay 80 million.
And I'd frankly take it for the sake of
40.
If it's Conte. Yeah. If it's 40, well, that's quite a bargain deal.
No, I mean like 40 million difference from summer to January. I don't think Daniel Levy will even. He'll say, this is cheap penny for Harry Kane. This is what I'd imagine him, like a villain as he looks. He'll be like, no. He at least 100 million for Harry Kane.
You sound like the guy from Despicable Me.
I actually never watched that movie in English. I should.
You should. I have kids, and they love that movie, even though they have no clue what's going on. But yeah, you sound pretty good there. I actually envisioned Daniel Levy the exact same way, so we're in sync. Well, the other one I got here, because you're right. I mean, the Harry Kane is one that situation is one we're going to be talking about a whole lot moving forward, and we hope it changes for sure, or else West Ham is going to overtake Tottenham, and I know that would make a lot of West Ham fans happy. They've already overtaken them right now. I just mean more so, last couple of years. West Ham on the rise, right? But my last underperformer here is one that it was like threading a needle. It was buying a really good and versatile player, but he just hasn't translated yet. And I think it's a product of who he needs to be on the pitch with. Okay. And this is in the Bundesliga. And I'm going to say an underperformer right now is Danielle Mullen. Okay. Danielle Mullen at Borussia Dortmund. And I get it. It's early, but we can't dance around this, right? We all expected goals. We all expected some sort of a game-changing moment, like he was so keen to do for PSV. It has not come. It has not come at all. But I think we also expected him to be playing most of his minutes with Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can you look at that and can you say, hey, give him more time, whatever? Well, Dortmund doesn't have time. And Dortmund every year is dealing with the injury knocks that they always deal with. It seems ridiculous. You want to fire a medical staff? It's probably that medical staff, right? Them and Barcelona. But Danielle Mullen, Yeah.
But Dembele wasn't injured with that medical
That's
stuff.
true. Everyone else was, but not Ousmane Dembele, right? But yeah, no, Danielle Mullen is one we had high hopes for, and we know it's early. Narratives can change, but Dortmund needs them if they want to keep up in any way, shape, or form with the machine that is Bayern Munich right now.
So, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my final one, and it's the reason why he's linked up to Newcastle, and it's Ter Stegen. I know that defense in front of Ter Stegen is shambolic too, especially when Ronaldo Araújo doesn't play or a big player like that doesn't play.
Yeah.
But like, come on, like what I saw against Celta Vigo, like Ter Stegen wasn't even there, so underperforming extremely. And honestly, I think it's a player that Barcelona know they can get big bucks right now for, and honestly, they're fine with Ter Stegen leaving, and that says a lot. So he's a huge underperformer in my opinion.
That was the first time in how many years that they gave up a 3-0 lead? That was just unreal, absolutely unreal.
It was sad. It was sad. So if there's like any underperformer that we didn't mention, you guys feel like should have been mentioned, please put down below in the comment section. Do you have anyone you want to say at the end, Bretson?
No, I mean, I know that you wanted to say Harry Maguire.
Well, and Sancho, but like I felt like it's just repetitive.
obvious. But, yeah. No, I mean we missed talking about Barella's new deal, Chalaba's new deal, Conor Gallagher again. There's just so much to talk about. We might have to do 2 of these, like a quicker one midweek or something, because too much to talk about. But no, I got no more underperformers for you.
So do you want to like end it up with one start bench still? Because like the listeners love this one. And
which one?
Let's go with the CDM one.
Okay.
Because I like it. And so to end the episode, start, bench, sell, big boys, Kimmich, Kante, and Kazmir. Okay. So Breton, on the spot, who would you start? Who would you bench? Who would you sell?
I have a feeling I'm going to get hurt for this one. I'm going to start Kimmich.
Okay.
I'm nothing if not consistent with my versatility trope. No, I mean, he's phenomenal. His delivery, his engine, his leadership. But you can say that pretty much about every one of these, except Kimmich is a beast on the offense as well as the defense, right? Or fueling the offense, I should say, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to start Kimmich. I'm going to bench Casemiro.
Oh no, you didn't.
I just did.
Oh no, you didn't. You're
not gonna and I'm gonna sell, and I'm gonna make him not smile as if he cares. I'm gonna sell N'Golo Kante.
Well, I care. What? Like,
I'm gonna make you cry. I mean, come on. This is a game of narrow margins, and N'Golo Kante, he's been missing recently. You know me with a current form bull donkey, whatever. I get. But Chelsea's been missing Lukaku, Timo, Pulisic, Kante, Kovacic. They've still been getting, results.
You and Pedro are putting me like crazy this week.
I know, but here's the thing. I've looked at how great Real Madrid for the most part has been this year. Okay, Casemiro is never going to get the props. Although I don't think anyone expected Casemiro, Kroos, Modric to be any sort of a formidable at this day and age, right? 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, 3 years ago, for sure. But we thought that they were kind of getting on the decline. They've been very solid, and Casemiro has been possibly the biggest part of that. He is kind of an a-hole when it comes down to playing against. He's one of those guys that you have to have on your team, you want to have on your team, and that you think about nonstop as not wanting to play against. But it just brought me back because Xavi's coming into the fold for Barcelona. And I remembered that quote from a couple of years ago, like 2017, maybe 2018, where Xavi said, like, Casemiro couldn't play for Barcelona, right? He would never play DM for Barcelona.
Oh, he couldn't. Oh, for sure.
Exactly. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't really care. I've got 4 Champions League titles.
Exactly. It's like same type beat as Ramos, Casemiro. Like they kill Barcelona players. That's like what they do for a living instead of wanting to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, so I think the benching part, this was so hard,
Oh, that
obviously.
was so.
But the
Come
benching
on,
part,
bro.
come on, he's played 300 games for them. He's just so consistent. He's there. Uh, I'm trying to rationalize something that is unrationable, whatever that is.
Come
You
on,
get it.
doing start bench sell is really hard to be
It
fair
is.
with you, but I'm gonna start Kimmich too
Okay.
because he's the best balanced player, and in
Balance.
history, I think he'll be the biggest icon for
Yep.
the three. Like Bayern, Kimmich is going to be an icon of this day and age for Bayern.
Mhm.
So I love it. I think Kimmich can play right back, can play CDM.
Yep.
Conte bench because Conte is like, come on, he was Ballon d'Or talk nominations. Like he was absolutely crucial for Chelsea to win the Champions League. And sell Casemiro. That okay, that's really hard, but like I think Casemiro is thinking to himself, like, I'm gonna be one of the first pieces going in a rebuild.
Yeah.
Okay, Camavinga coming. Like I think Valverde, Camavinga, Casemiro will be thinking, like, okay, my time's gonna be up soon. Just like Varane, they'll gonna offload Casemiro and get a good buck too, because Real Madrid does those good deals.
Yeah.
So start Kimmich, bench Conte, sell Casemiro.
All right.
So we're 1 minute up.
Yeah.
So that was really. I think this is a really good way to end it up and wrap it up the podcast. So episode 29. I just want to end up saying thank you to everyone that went to our Twitch. And look, I want this soundbite. I'm gonna go bold here. If we have 100K subs on YouTube, I will go bold live on Twitch. I will literally go bold live on Twitch. If we have that play button here, that play 100K, I need physical evidence if I'm going bold. Yeah. That's what I want. If I'm putting myself bold, we need something. So that's gonna be the challenge that I'm gonna put.
I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it because I wouldn't mind seeing this.
Oh my days, if that happens, oh no, that'd be so crazy. Oh, no. Let's go with it.
Well, here's how we get it there, right? Everyone's been now introduced to Pedro. They've been introduced to Alex, obviously, and Breton. This type of cast is going to expand over time as we try and build something around covering world football, not just the Premier League, not just America or Portugal. But we really want to hear what you like, what you don't like, what you think we could do, what you think we shouldn't do. We're going to keep adding faces because the nature of this is we always wanted this to be a communal thing and sharing it with you. And I'm excited, even though I'm an older dog here, I'm excited about the Twitch experience because it's a way to, hey, we're going to watch these games together. We might as well all watch them together.
I love it. I love it. And the Twitch experience is going to be massive. So if you guys don't know, we're going to be live Thursday on Twitch to max reaction of Portugal Ireland, 7:45 here in Portugal. So episode 29, it's in the books, wrapped up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed doing it. And yeah, peace out, guys.
Later.